They accepted me.
Stephie
They
Smalls,
accepted me into med
superstar,
school.
Stephie
It's
Smalls.
so bad. So
What's
bad.
that?
So bad.
What is so bad?
That I got accepted to med school and I can't work a fucking camera. Okay. Oh, we're live. That's nice.
Wow, we're live. Oh, I forgot to tell you, we're live.
Can you play my intro, please?
A little BTS.
Are you ready?
What's up? Welcome back into the Stephie Smalls Show. As requested every single week, I am coercing him into coming onto the show by saying I will place our weekly parlay, and then if we win, that's how he gets paid. So it's an incentive. Money's Moonoff of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network at Sports Nerd 824. Did I get that right? I think I got it right. On Twitter, guy with the great beard and the better props. I just came up with that today. How do we like it?
You have a new nickname for me every single week. I love it.
I know. We got to play around, see what catches.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, that sounds good to me. But Jesus, week 10 already.
Can you believe? Literally, the first note in my show sheet is "Holy shit, it's week 10." How the fuck did that happen?
I mean, it just kind of like we wait all freaking summer long for the Hall of Fame game, and then preseason rolls around, and they're like, all right, week 2, week 3, and before we know it, it's all a blur after that. Because you also had like other sports starting as well, right? You have hockey coming on, and then you have NBA.
Yeah.
It's just all like, and I know you don't care because you're just
I know. But I picked the two sports that marry really well together because golf starts
yeah.
When the Super Bowl is done and when I start phasing out. So I did a good job with that. How are you doing? Good? Feeling good?
It's Wednesday. It's your show. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Let's get the party started.
Trade deadline occurred, has gone away. Very anticlimactic. Like people can be as dramatic as they want. It's fine. I mean, what were the moves you liked, moves you didn't like? Like, did anything stand out for you other than Jerry Jones needs to go to a nursing home, like as soon as possible? I mean, I don't care. Let the man cook and be all in all he wants. But like, anything stand out?
We don't want him as anti-Cowboy fans. We want him to be around so we can keep laughing at their expense and how bad they're going to be year in and year out. So he's the owner / GM. I think we talked about it last week that I felt like the Texans were going to make some type of acquisition, whether it was adding wide receiver depth or offensive line. Did neither of those things, so I'll get that off my chest. So I think the two moves was Tre'Davious White going over to Baltimore. I know that they needed some help in the secondary there as well. I thought they needed another pass rusher as well. But we knew the Lions also were going to make some type of move to add a pass rusher, and they did that.
That was the most obvious move, I think.
Yeah. So it was like you mentioned, it was just anticlimactic. And the teams that were going to make a move, they did it. Lions, Ravens, the Bills when they got, Commanders. Commanders, whatever.
It's not doing anything for me, and I'm like obviously a hater, but like I don't think that moves the needle as much as like everyone wants to pretend like it does. And they kind of, I recognize that there's always a window. I think their window is open. It's a bigger window than the Commanders are acting to give up like kind of what they did for Lattimore there. I think he adds a little bit of spice. I don't know. Are they that scared of like AJ Brown that's like you guys really needed to add someone in there?
Well, their pass defense has been pretty atrocious.
Yeah, it's
for the past 3 years now. So obviously they're going to improve. I think now it's going to turn into a free agent destination. For the Commanders, right? I think people want to play with Jaden Daniels. They want to play for Dan Quinn. You have a pretty good, maybe above average offensive coordinator in Kingsbury there. So yeah, like you mentioned, I think their window's pretty open, especially in that division. So, I mean, Cowboys aren't going to be competitive. We'll see if your Giants make a quarterback change and then get somebody competent in there.
It's going to be fun. I think that we are actually on the verge of Cowboys 4th in the NFC East for a couple of years. And that is fucking awesome. Like, that's how the world heals.
I feel like CeeDee Lamb's going to request a trade at the end of the season or something.
I think Micah Parsons, I'll just say it now. I think he's going to the Texans. That's my hot take. Why would he want to resign? Why would he want to sign there? Go with your buddy CJ Stroud. Come
over. We could use all the help we can on defense. Come on through. Bring
last thing on the trade deadline, like before we get into Thursday Night Football, I do think the Steelers piqued my interest in the moves that they made. As someone that had their over win total, which again, that's really just a play on I don't fade Tomlin. I haven't done it. I'm not going to do it. I think every year people want to do that, but Preston Smith is a player that I really like. He's a little bit older. That's fine. And then I kind of like the Mike. Everyone hates the Mikey W. Why do we hate the Mikey W move?
I actually like it for them. I agree with you. They needed a downfield threat, let alone a guy in the wide receiving room there. And we know Russell Wilson, he can throw the deep ball. And I think that only is going to help with having Mike Williams there. We knew that as soon as Devontae Adams went over to the Jets, like he was going to be the odd man out, right? Like we know he was going to be traded somewhere. So Pittsburgh was obviously that one team that was linked to every single wide receiver that was available. And they finally got a guy in Mike Williams. Hopefully he's able to stay healthy because I still think that he can be a great player. But it's the fact that do we think that Russell Wilson can continue playing the way he has been, in the first 2 starts that he's made for the Steelers there. So yeah, I like the move for them.
I'll say the Steelers are a team I would not want to see in the playoffs. I think that defense pushes them over. Can it win them a bunch of games in the playoffs? I don't know. Can Russell Wilson keep it up?
That's the question.
I have my fucking eyes on the Steelers, though. I'll tell you that. But let's talk about actually divisional match. Staying in that division is Thursday Night Football. 4-5 Bengals headed to Baltimore to face the 6-3 Ravens. This is an interesting game. The Bengals need to keep their playoff hopes alive, and the Ravens need a win to keep up with the Steelers at this point for the AFC North. What's the point? It's the spread is 6.5. Ravens. Home favorites. I see a 5.5 out there. Thoughts on this? Bengals are plus 225 on the money line.
So you mentioned, I think this game is more important for the Cincinnati Bengals, right? Like you mentioned, getting back to 500 after starting that season, losing to the Patriots. I don't think T. Higgins is going to play in this game. I think the indications are that he's going to be out for this game, and you kind of get that mini bye week to get him right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the fact do you trust the defense right now for the Bengals, right? I think that's the biggest question because they just played a few weeks ago and it turned into a pretty much a shootout between those two teams. Bengals should have won that game. I think they know it as well. Ravens won it by a field goal in overtime. I like the Bengals side here. I know they haven't fared at least straight up in the division there, but I like them on the spread. I think they can keep this game close. It could be a 3 or 4 point victory for the Baltimore Ravens, but I like the Bengals here. I think they can keep this game close. I think Joe Burrow has a big game. I think some of the offensive weapons, we'll talk about props in a second here, but I'm all over the Bengals here on the spread, at least at +6. I'll probably put a little bit on the money line as well.
Yeah, it's probably going to be like a playoff game atmosphere for this Thursday Night Football game, which we're starting to get, last week. Some of these primetime games haven't been horrible. I know we complain, but I feel like last year's were much worse than we're getting this year because last year was crazy. We were getting like no touchdowns, ties, like just ridiculous bullshit. You've got two teams, 2 top 10 offenses in both EPA per play and offensive DVOA, but also 2 bottom 10 defenses in EPA per play allowed. These teams actually match up really well, and they always play each other very competitively. The Ravens have always played. I mean, this goes for any team that plays the Bengals. They're going to play them better without both Chase and Higgins on the field. It doesn't seem like Higgins is playing. Seems like I think Isaiah likely did get ruled out.
Yeah, he did.
He had his 60 minutes of glory week 1, and then that's kind of about all we got. I probably lean the Bengals on the spread. I chose to go a different route, and I got this number a little bit earlier in the week. So I took the over 52.5 on the total. Thoughts on the total here?
Yeah, I think it's into a shootout. You mentioned, we know what the Bengals defense has been throughout this season. And also the Ravens, look, they come in with one of the best rush defenses, if not the best, but then their pass defense has been absolutely atrocious. I think either like one or two quarterbacks just haven't gone over their passing yards projection against the Ravens. But I think that Joe Burrow historically has been pretty good against this Ravens team. I see points. This could turn into a barn burner over shootout here. So I would expect points of this number. I mean, I think it's the highest total we've seen all season.
And it makes sense though, because you look at the Bengals, they're 6-3 of the over, and they're all 9 games that they played, and the Ravens are 8-1, which also makes sense with that offense and how they're eating teams alive. Let's get into player props. So all the people want. What's the first one that you're looking at for this game?
Yeah, so I'll lead off here. I'm double dipping here. So Mike Gesicki, I'm taking the over. I got a 48.5 on him. It's up to 50.5. I would still play it there. So I like the over on his receiving yards. I mentioned that the Ravens are the 3rd worst team, at least yards allowed to the tight end position. I think Mike Gesicki now, with T. Higgins being out, he's going to have, I think, the target shares. I think he's had great back-to-back weeks. I think last week it was against the Raiders. We had 100 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns for the offense. So I like his over 50.5, and also played the longest reception for him.
I knew you were going to say it. I smirked before you even fucking said it.
19.5. So I went back and looked at the tight ends that the Baltimore Ravens have faced. I'm not even going to count last week against the Denver Broncos. Adam Trautman had like 1 reception for 4 yards. But every other tight end, except for Mike Gesicki, has gone over 19.5 longest reception. Gesicki had 19 in that matchup earlier this season, but everybody else was at least 23 yards or more on their longest reception. So I think Mike Gesicki could get it done. He had one last week. I believe it was 47 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I had it down somewhere, 47 and something. Yeah, 47-24, I think his last 2.
Yeah. So I'll take both of those as player prop 1 or 1A, 1B. Gesicki over receiving yards and longest reception over.
Okay, my 2 things with Gesicki is I can't, like, the image that is burned in my head of him doing the gritty every time is like makes him so unattractive to bet on already. So since he did it the first time in Miami, I have been like the anti-Gesicki. Like, it is unbearable and very hard to bet on him. After that, then this is like the public play, obviously, is to take Gesicki over. I like it. I'm not doing it because I'm a brat, but I did take the longest. I actually got it at 18.5, but that was like when the lines first came out. I would play it up to, I think I'm seeing it out there. I think a couple books moved to a 21.5. Wow. So, and that's a little much. 20.5. I'm still there. He's gone over 2 straight. After that, I'm probably out. Staying in the tight end market, Mark Andrews. A lot of things that I like for him this game. I know you look at what he's done. It kind of hit or miss, but his involvement has been there. I like his anytime touchdown. I don't normally give those like straight up out when I'm giving out props. I do like his anytime touchdown at plus 210. I wish I got in earlier because I know there was better numbers out there. I took his alt 5 receptions plus 130. He's only gone over this once this season, but I think you look at and his longest. So I took his longest over 17.5 and the alt 5 receptions. If you look at what tight ends have done against the Bengals here, you have Bowers last week, 5 receptions, 45 yards, 22 longest, 1 touchdown. Calcaterra, 3 receptions, 58 yards, 28 longest. Njoku, 10 receptions, 76 yards, 15 longest, 1 touchdown. Jordan Atkins, who I forgot about until I was looking at stuff for this show, 4 receptions, 42 yards, 21 longest. You guys get the spiel here. He's 10th in red zone targets amongst tight ends. I'm all about Mark Andrews. I think this game, a guy that I don't normally bet on either. I think his longest is probably the safer way to go. Love his anytime touchdown. And I think if you want to have a little bit of fun, because I don't like the 3.5 number, it's like minus 155 or something like that. So I like the plus 130 you can get on 5 receptions.
Even on his receiving yards, I'm seeing around 40.5, 41.5. Last 10 head-to-head meetings against the Bengals, 8 of the 10 of the games he's gone, or I should say, had 42 or more receiving yards against the Bengals. So could be a tight end game here, hopefully.
I like it. We're due for a very big tight end Thursday. Like, remember when that was a thing? It was very fun, and I'm expecting that to come back. Maybe look to him. Charlie Kolar, I didn't look anything up, but I did did pique my interest kind of here. What's the next prop that you're looking at?
So I took Chase Brown under 58.5 rushing yards. They did also acquire Khalil Herbert from the Bears, did the Bengals, because Zach Moss is pretty much done for the season with that neck injury.
Yeah.
But no running back has gone over this projection against the Ravens this season. So why would it start this week with Chase Brown? So if you won't even take alt unders on him, maybe get it down to 50.5 for Chase Brown. I don't think that he's going to reach this number. Like I mentioned, they have one of the best, if not the best, rush defense in the league. I think they're only allowing like 3.2 yards per carry. I think it's not going to be a Chase Brown game. He may be involved in the passing game, but I think as far as when it comes to rushing the football, I don't think he's going to do much. And I think he had only 47 yards in the matchup earlier this season from a couple weeks ago. 46 yards on 12 carries. Did have a touchdown in the game, but I just think this number is way too high, especially since no running backs have done this against the Ravens this season.
Yeah, and also you just don't have to run the ball against them because they fucking suck. You just throw the ball against them and you're fine. You're all set there. I'm with you. I don't know how to play him. Again, another thing that's getting a little bit too popular is his receptions, which is interesting because he's only gone over the number like once, and it was last week. I might get there with his receiving yards. Haven't made a full decision on that. Maybe if they get a longest reception prop, shocking to everyone, I might get there. But I like the underplay on that, absolutely. I'm in on that one.
Let me see what he did against. He only had 8 receiving yards in that game earlier.
Yeah, he's not that involved. Like, for as many people that are touting his receptions and receiving yards, it's not really the main aspect of his game.
No, it's not. It's not at all. I mean, like, outside of last week, like a total of 98 receiving yards this season. So 37 of that came last week. So not really involved in that passing game.
Yeah. My next one, Jamar Chase. Very, very straightforward here. Yep. I will say it again. The Baltimore Ravens secondary is cottage cheese, booty cheeks, not good. That secondary is awful. They're over like 40. They've got to be at, last week I think I cashed on 3 different longest receptions against them. They've got to be at like 45 play 20 plus yard plays via the air. They're just not, they're giving up so much through the air. His longest reception is 23.5. It's actually came down. It opened at 25.5, minus 115. I saw it somewhere still sitting 26.5. That's crazy. So FanDuel has the 23.5. I don't see it closing there. What is this? Oh yeah. He hasn't gone over this in 3 straight weeks, but prior to that, 33, 70, 63, 41. The 70 was against the Ravens. He also had 10 receptions, 193 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So with that, I will say 8 receptions at plus 106, I very much like as well. And then Chase, 110 plus yards at plus 250. Cortland Sutton had 122 yards last week. Yep. Tillman, Moore, Judy all had 79 plus yard games. Cade Otton 100. Like, it's also Jamar Chase. So we're talking about a different beast than all of the guys that I just named. So if you want to flirt with some of those alt lines, I would not fault you. I really like the longest reception, really like the 8 receptions, and then the 110 plus yards at plus 250 feels very nice.
11 targets each in the last 2 weeks for him, 9 receptions, 7 receptions. The yardage hasn't been there, but again, since we like points being put up in this game and a lot of offense, I couldn't talk you off of Jamar Chase, especially once he did earlier this season with or against the Ravens. I have a Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase stack on one of my teams, so that was a week where I think they combined for like 7 touchdowns together.
Oh my gosh.
For that week, so that was a lot of fun. I'll give you Zay Flowers this week. I mean, he's clearly the number 1 wide receiver for this Baltimore Ravens offense. If you want to take a look at his longest reception to go over, I couldn't talk you off of that, but I do like his yardage. It's at 60.5. Last 2 weeks, or I should say for the last 5 weeks, he's had 110 or more receiving yards for the Hi McKee. Did you have some?
Hi, McKee. Okay. What happened, McKee?
I don't know. 110 plus receiving yards. I'll leave it at that. Zay Flowers over 60.5. I'll probably ladder this up as well. Maybe get it to 70 plus, 80 plus. I think this could be another 100-yard game for him.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. I think I looked at his longest. It was kind of egregious. Like, I didn't think I could get there. It was like 26.5. Every time I say that, I'm wrong though. So
I see a 23.5 at DraftKings.
Okay, that's not horrible. I think I could get there with him. I like that play. I have to. Would you just take an all, or would you take his over yard? Like, how do you think you play? Say,
I think for him,
money on him,
because he is getting the targets and he is a downfield threat for the Baltimore Ravens. Like Lamar Jackson, it's almost like he's looking for him down the field there. I couldn't talk you off of either one, honestly. If you want to take the longest reception to go over, or if you want to take him for his yardage, I think this could be another good game for him. I did play his anytime touchdown. I got it around plus 130 for Zay Flowers. So I mean, with a total of 53.5, obviously people are going to be scoring touchdowns. So hopefully it's a big week for Zay Flowers.
I'm with you. I wonder, honestly, parlaying a Jamar Chase, Zay Flowers anytime touchdown sounds like a very nice. How the fuck do you say that wide receiver? Is it how do you say his name?
Your guess is as good as mine.
We're gonna call him AI on this show, which is funny.
Andrea
Isabas.
Yeah, he probably listens to the show. Sorry for butchering your name.
I know, I feel bad. I meant to look it up, but obviously it was running late. It was a hair washing day, so we were having a little moment in the bathroom, so I didn't have time to look up how to say his name, so I apologize. I'm saying it wrong. His longest reception is 12.5. I have a weird gut feeling that this is one of those games wouldn't fall you for taking his anytime touchdown, but longest reception parlay. Iosavas, is there like a, and then am I saying it properly? Okay, I'm going to stop trying now. Over 12.5, Jamar Chase over the 23.5. And I just wanted to play this player somehow, but I cannot get there because I know who. Deontay Johnson over 13.5, sitting at plus 491. I like those odds. That's probably my last couple plays. Derrick Henry didn't figure out how to do it. I probably would just take his like 100 plus rushing or anytime, but I like that parlay. Iosavas, I'm probably saying this. I can't even take myself fucking seriously saying it. Chase over 23.5 and Deontay Johnson. This one's going to kill it because he's going to end up dropping the like 17-yard pass that he gets, and it's going to piss me off.
I was looking at Rashad Bateman to go over on his longest reception, but knowing my luck, he's gonna have like a wide open catch 30 yards down the field and he's gonna drop it. So I told myself, no, thank you. So I stuck with Zay. Iosivas.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, David.
Oh man.
But yeah,
anything else you're looking at?
I think Joe Burrow's passing yards make a lot of sense, right? Because we just talked about, the rushing attack is really not going to be there. And if they trail in this game, or I think it'll be a pass-heavy game plan for the Cincinnati Bengals, I think that Joe Burrow can obviously not throw for another 390 some odd yards he had in that first game this season. But I think the number was around 269.5. I think I can see him sniffing 300 in this game here. So if you want to look at Joe Burrow over passing yards or even pass attempts, I think that's a good look for Joe Burrow this week.
I like that quite a bit. Actually, I don't know what I never really bet passing yards. It's like something for some reason I skip right over to like the fun stuff.
I mean, look, it's been a very profitable angle this season against the Ravens. It's been the Ravens, and I want to say we talked about it maybe 2 weeks ago with the Vikings at how every quarterback are going over their passing yards just because their rush defenses have been really good. So that was another one that Joe Burrow I had on my short list.
I didn't look at if either of these guys throw an interception, who do you think it'll be? Because I kind of lean Lamar because I could see whatever his back stuff is going on. I didn't look at his rushing. I could see him maybe not rushing as much. He hasn't thrown an interception and he's only thrown 2 this season. Oh, Lamar, you, my sir, are throwing an interception.
Last time we were on the show, you said that, oh, my sir, you're throwing one. It was Josh Allen, and let alone there you threw one.
Yeah, it's got to happen. I'm sorry, sir. I do love you dearly, but it's got plus 114. Come on.
Plus odds, you got to play it.
Come on. There's no way. We haven't been getting those. Things are reversed. It used to be in the beginning of the season, you get the plus money, and then they kind of swapped it here halfway through.
I'll do you one better. Daniel Jones is plus 120 to throw an interception this week.
I fucking hope so. You just led me into one of the most, well, I don't think it's psychotic. It's going to seem psychotic, but I want everyone to just hear me out. The New York, I'm not going to act like a disgruntled, like absolutely tortured fan, because I know other fan bases have it worse. I've seen 2 Super Bowl wins in my lifetime, but there is one pain that I know with the New York Giants and their ability to screw themselves out of a draft position. Right now, they are 2-7.
Mm-hmm.
They are drafting 7th overall. The New York Giants play Carolina, the Bucks, the Cowboys with Cooper Rush, and they play the Saints, who are going to be at that point just headed towards the depths of wherever draftness.
Yeah.
I just made that up. The New York Giants are going to win 6 games this year. I would bet you a lot of money. I took the over 5.5 actually, because it's a win-win for me. Happiness hedge. I just have seen this story before. They've got the Colts. They go on the road to see the Colts. They got week 18 Eagles. This team wins 6 games and they absolutely screw themselves for the draft next year. And they remain in the hellscape that is the Maras owning this team. Dable is going to call the 4 best games you have ever seen for job security. Like, I fucking know this story. You guys don't understand. I've seen it before.
That was gonna be my question, is that you're playing the over 5.5 because Dable is probably gonna coach his ass off to save his job.
There's going to be successful 2-point conversions. Daniel Jones is going to look amazing. They're going to use the Panthers to get the rookies to buy back in. And then it's going to be culture wins, just like with Tommy Cutlets. I know how this goes. I've seen this picture. I've seen this movie. I know how it goes. If it doesn't happen, great. I want them to lose out. That's the first time I can successfully say, like, I genuinely want them to lose games. I think with how bad the bad teams are, they're already in a bad spot. And this team is they're not going to lose out. It's just not going to happen. Not with this schedule. They're going to win. So
what happens if they lose to the Panthers in Germany?
You can wait. I would wait because you're going to get a really, really nice number if they lose to the Panthers. Because I still think they get the 6 wins. I said it from the beginning of the season. I knew this was going to happen. It's awful. It's so.
Feels like it happened last year too, didn't it?
Yes, I took their over, but I took it at 4.5. I took the over right before we beat the Commanders. So whatever week that was, a little bit earlier in the season.
Yeah,
that's when we could still beat the Commanders. We cannot do that anymore. And I'm just telling everyone, like, this is a joke. You see that I think the spread for that game 6.5. The public is all over the Panthers because they want Bryce Young to feel good because he finally won a game and it's a happy story. Yeah, all the money is coming in on the Giants, like all of it, because I don't think that they're an even matchup. They shouldn't lose. I would love for them to lose that. I hope they lose every game. I will be so fucking happy. I just don't think that's happening. Not with that defense, not with the games have gone. Like, there's multiple games they could have won. Couple calls here. Nothing. Like they were close to winning a couple of these 6 wins. I'm telling you right now. I've seen this story before. I fucking hate it. But I'm gonna
Apparently
be right.
Jesus is coming back this week to save you guys as well, right?
Who?
From everything I've seen on my Twitter, your kicker.
Please. The word kicker makes me so angry. To be honest, it's a trigger word because name a team that has put more kickers on IR in 2 years than the New York Giants, because I think we're at 7. And I'm not being dramatic. Gano twice, granted, but no one has put more kickers. What are you guys doing? Like, does Urban Meyer live in the locker room? Like, what is going on? Like, how do they keep getting hurt? I don't understand. And if you know you have a kicker problem, like versus the Commanders the first time, you had no healthy kicker. Are you guys crazy?
Was that a home game or was that a road game?
It was a road game, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was.
I was just saying maybe it's the turf or the grass at
I'm kind of
MetLife,
checked out. Like people ask me questions. I'm like, I don't know. It's not pretty. Thoughts on the Texans? Those uniforms are very sexy.
Oh yeah.
You can't lose in those uniforms. It's fucked up.
No, you can't. Nico looks like he'll be back this week. I've been tracking the injury. He passed all the tests as of today, in fact, Wednesday. So they're like, oh, we're still gonna see, but I expect him to be out there.
I hope they do the thing where they don't announce it till like the day of, and then I can hammer his overs.
Yeah, so I think he will definitely be back. Play his overs, longest reception, anytime touchdown, over yards. It's gonna be a good test. See after, God, that atrocious performance on Thursday Night Football against the Jets. It was a bad spot, honestly. Like being down our top 2 wide receivers and having to travel on the road into MetLife. Now you're at home. Sunday Night Football should be a ruckus environment. Uniforms, battle red. I think they can at least cover the number. Who knows? They can probably win the game outright. But
I feel like this is the spot where Dan Campbell's aggression, and it kind of happened last year a couple times, where like it actually hurts them instead of helping them. He's kind of due for a little bit of a slip up where that was probably not the best call that you could have made. They've been like taunting, I feel like teams. Yeah. They're like beating them by hundreds of points, and they're like, oh, let's do some crazy trick play. Yeah, that's it. Do you have any other thoughts about Thursday Night Football before we wrap up?
No, hopefully it's a fun game though. I mean, like you mentioned, we've got some clunkers over the last couple weeks there, but this should be a good one. AFC North. Hopefully the Bengals can pull it out. I really want to see them get back to 500 and see if they can get to the playoffs with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and those guys. So yeah, hopefully it's just a fun one. Hopefully we see a lot of points. Hopefully we get our props to cash here, but good one to start NFL Week 10. I'll say that much.
Absolutely. Hit like and subscribe. Also review if you're listening on Spotify. I think producer Ryan wants to tell a story before we wrap up. You're more than welcome to leave for this.
Oh, story time. I have to stay for
Let's see. I know. I have some story. I think Ryan had himself a couple edibles today.
Yeah, I saw the tweet.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah, I ate a lot of THC. So sorry, I'm a little unprofessional today.
It's a nice hat.
Let it ride, baby.
This is not a paid sponsorship.
Could be.
We'll talk to him. We'll see. So last night, I lost money because I bet on ASU to beat Idaho State by 18 points, Munaf.
Why did you do that?
Because I went to the game.
It's the worst.
Okay, we're talking basketball, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
What do you think I'm talking about?
I don't think maybe there's like a FCS or college football game going on. I don't know.
I forgot that ASU has a college football team. What is their record?
You forgot ASU has a college football team?
It's compartmentalizing. Like
they're doing so well this year. They beat Utah.
Cool. That's cool.
James Harden went there, right? Or was that Arizona?
He went to Arizona State.
Yeah, he went to State. Obviously, he likes strippers and STDs. He went to
his number. Mom.
What?
Yeah.
You don't live with your mom.
Thank you. my mom came in and gave me some rice pudding.
Are you being serious?
Mom,
Ryan?
I'm working right now, Mom.
Okay, Ryan. Hone in.
Yeah.
Focus.
Okay.
Focus.
So
I think he was talking to somebody imaginary, but I'll just.
I think so too.
So
There's no way your mom.
my friends and I go to the game last night, to the ASU game, and they're playing Idaho State. And Munaf,
Yes,
I'm not lying to you. Idaho State, they look like a team from the 1930s. That's how many white guys they have.
The 1930s.
That's how many white guys they have on their team.
Oh my god.
Ryan was watching a remake of Hoosiers last night.
And so I'm
were you
thinking,
at the game or were you watching a game?
No, he was at the game.
I was at the game.
Okay. I don't know with you. You just imagined your mom giving you rice pudding.
Shut up, Mom.
Okay, enough. Oh my god.
So I start. Do you know what the mascot of Idaho State is?
Sack of potatoes.
Probably something stupid like a sun devil.
No, Bengals.
Oh, okay.
So I start trying to get everybody to start on the ASU side to start yelling, "Oh, you suck, Joe Burrows," because they're white and they're Bengals.
Oh, right.
Ryan was on the news last night, wasn't he?
I was on the news.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like maybe sounded like a riot at the game.
We're gonna find out.
No, but then the ASU barely beat them, so it sucked.
It sounds like it sucked.
It sounds
horrible.
like a miserable time.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for the tickets?
Oh, they were free.
Okay.
They were free with your
Okay. Well, that's fine then.
They're free with a proof of an STD. And on that note, we are going to get out of here. Munaf and I will post a parlay. I keep saying that, but we really will do it because I feel good about this game. Be sure to like, subscribe, review if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Apple, whatever it is, Apple Podcasts. And tomorrow, the weekend starts tomorrow. So let's get out of here.
Watch him make it, break it, break it, break it.